This guy never saw it coming. He thought that after dying and being reborn in another world, he'd be living his best life. But turns out there were way too many people trying to reincarnate as heroes. The waitlist was a staggering 50,000 years. Even becoming the Demon King would take 10,000 years. Hell, even turning into an NPC who just repeats the same lines over and over required a 500-year wait. While James was mulling this over, the goddess mentioned that lately a bunch of people had been exploiting loopholes to sneak into the better worlds. They'd reincarnate as things like the hero's weapons and stuff. The goddess didn't rush James to make his choice, because if you lived an unfulfilling life in your new world, you couldn't achieve enlightenment, and your soul would just end up right back here. So it was crucial not to pick wrong. But the moment the goddess finished speaking, James had already made up his mind about which world he wanted. The goddess was pretty much speechless when she heard his answer. James wanted to become the hero's rib. That way he'd get touched by all the beautiful women in the hero's harem. How awesome would that be? Though she couldn't quite wrap her head around it. The goddess respected James's choice and launched him off to the world of the harem building hero. What the goddess never expected, though, was that in just 2 years, James would be right back here again. James was about to explain what happened, but the goddess just plugged directly into his brain to watch the footage herself. Since this was a world destined for a perfect ending, the hero was incredibly powerful. No matter what kind of monster showed up, he could take it down in one hit. And James, as the hero's rib, finally got his wish fulfilled. When the hero won over the beautiful women, James got to enjoy the touching he'd been dreaming of. This scene left the goddess completely speechless. What on earth was she even watching? In the following storyline, the hero successfully defeated the Demon King. Just when everything seemed headed for that perfect ending, James accidentally blew his cover. The hero had turned down one of his harem members, but James really liked her and made a move himself. This tipped the hero off that something wasn't right, so he started searching for where James was hiding. James straight up told him he was the 11th rib on the right side. The hero didn't hesitate, he ripped it right out. But here's the thing, James was actually the 10th rib on the right. What nobody saw coming was that the 11th right rib that got pulled out transformed into another hero. The two heroes started fighting, and the original hero, now missing a rib, actually lost to his own clone. But this clone wanted to get even stronger and planned to absorb the hero's other ribs. So all 23 ribs ridiculously turned into heroes and started an all-out brawl. James, just a regular rib, could only hide on the sidelines and watch. These ribs all had crazy overpowered abilities and had evolved different skills. The 10th left rib even used his own rib to create new heroes. The whole situation spiraled completely out of control. During this chaotic battle, James got picked up by one of the hero's harem members, a cat girl. As for how the battle ended, the surviving third left rib hero used a newly created divine technique to turn all the heroes back into bone fragments. Meanwhile, James was kept by the cat girl as a toy. James had a pretty blissful time for a while, until he got picked up by another harem member, but she had no idea this was the hero's rib and just crushed James and tossed him into the garden as fertilizer. That's why James came back without fulfilling his wish, though if the goddess would touch him now, he'd probably be satisfied. The goddess pointed out that if she touched him, he'd probably turn to dust, but James didn't care one bit and told the goddess to go ahead.
試してみましょう。